Well, good morning. Welcome to Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona. I'm in Arizona. Farmer Sandy, I got my bibs on. So I'm going to show you what I planted so far in the garden. I set up two of my little hydroponics this morning, and I still have more to plant tonight, but it's going to be 80 some degrees, 85 or something, so I thought I'd wait to plant the rest of it until this evening. So it gives it all night long to get a little more acclimated. I mean, the plants have been outside since we got here, but I think it'll just be more helpful. Well, let's first look at the garden when we first got here. So overgrown. And what are these plants? I don't have any idea. I didn't plant them. There's some kind of weird plant weed something. The hollyhocks have already died back. And then we have my castor bean. It wasn't in the water system, but with the amount of rain that Yuma got this year, it has just flourished. I am actually cutting this down. And I'm going to harvest all those seed pods first. And so if you would like some, let me know and I'll mail them to you. Here's the plants that I'm putting into my different garden spaces. Lots of tomatoes. The only thing that really had a hard time were my cucumbers. The one night that we stayed over, it was supposed to be warmer than it was. Didn't kill them, but it certainly didn't help them. And all of these are in seed snails, and so I will just roll them out. But let's do some cleanup first in the garden. And this probably took me, it wasn't that long. It was probably about an hour. It pulled really easy. The soil is a sandy loam, and so most things just pull right out. And when I get done, you'll actually be able to see my 3 little citrus trees that I planted at the end of the season last year. We added a water system to them. Now Joe's cutting. He's got a new little tool that cuts the branches. I think he's cutting them a little smaller than he really needs to because he's playing. And then he will chip those. But when I got it cleared up, you can see my strawberries from last year. And that I was very excited about, that they survived. But I guess they were shaded enough, and it was in the water system. And so we'll see what kind of strawberries I get from these. This is a Swiss chard plant that survived barely. But they can be a perennial down here for about 5 years. These strawberries, not as good as the other ones. So I'm just taking a little rototiller and I am just going to till up that soil just to mix it up. I'm not really a tiller. I did leave the stalk, that trunk of that castor bean that's right by my foot there. And if it wants to grow up and I can prune it as a tree, I'm okay with that. But I'm just going to do a quick pass through there. Now there's Joe, and he is got the chipper shredder going, and I am going to water now that I got it all cleared off. I wanted to give it a really good soak before I start to plant, so I'm going to plant tonight. But I'm just going to go through it, and you can see my little citrus trees. 2 of them have a little bit of fruit on. I could probably pick them off. Now these are seed snails. Look at the roots are coming out. This is a Brandywine tomato, and so let me switch that camera around. Look at all those roots. When you undo it, it's just massive roots. So just be careful and gently tease out the apple or the tomato plant. If you have to, put it in a bucket of water. So I did holes about 6 inches deep because a tomato will make roots on all the stalk that's in the soil. And I am just going to pack that around, firm it in, put a tomato cage around it, and water it in again. So I planted orange tomatoes for my brother, these Brandywines, cabbages, broccolis. These are my raised beds out in front. Joe put some of the things he chipped about 4 inches on top of it. So when I dig the hole for the tomatoes that are going out here and the cauliflower, it will have a really good mulch bed on it. And I have 3 raised beds out in the front. These 2 beds are on the back part of my property, and I've grown flowers and tomatoes and onions, different things in there. Now, the cabbages don't look too bad. This is the next day. they're not too bad. The tomatoes aren't too bad. Broccolis are coming up next. They were a little bit droopy, but really probably not bad, honestly. Probably the worst thing was my Swiss chard. These are some zucchinis. I think they'll be fine. No, I'm just trying to prop them up a little bit, and they get really big, so they are spaced out a long ways. This is a squash, and so I'm sure that will be just fine after a couple days. But see this Swiss chard? It is sad. It is limped over. It's not happy, but I'm sure it'll get better. But there's the garden, and in a couple weeks it'll be just fabulous. Citrus is good. I hope you have a great weekend. I am painting at the fair, teaching painting. And I gotta get back to work because Farmer Sandy in Arizona. See you later.